All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the J&J Sports Express. Thanksgiving week, Wednesday, November 24th, I believe. November 23rd, I'm sorry. Week
You're
12
skipping
of the
days.
NFL. Week 12 of the NFL season. Of course, I'm your co-host, Jeff Cadillac, with my co-host, JB
What's
Ellis.
going on?
How are you this afternoon, Mr. Ellis?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Excited. We got a bunch of good games. Football tomorrow, college basketball all week, the World Cup. It's like a sports person's dream.
Yeah, well, we're talking tonight about two of the games on Thursday, so it's a nice big schedule. Not a lot of great games this weekend, but there's definitely a good handful of games that people are going to be watching. So, anyway, let's get right to it. Let's look at this week's New York Giants. Yes, Thursday night. Thursday during the game, it's the second game of the day. New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys. Dallas are a home favorite, laying 9. How you feeling about this, JB?
Dallas is going to win, but it's a division game. The Giants always play them tough. It's going to be a game until the end. I don't see them winning by 9. I do see them winning, but they're not going to cover. The Giants, they got to keep Daniel Jones doing what he did. They had a bad loss against Detroit, probably because they were looking past them for this game. They're going to bounce back. Dallas had a huge win in Minnesota. They shut Minnesota down. It was like Minnesota wasn't there. Um, so I see this being a close game with Dallas winning by about a field goal.
I got to disagree with you on this one. I believe Dallas is going to win, but they're going to blow them out. Giants have too many injuries on both sides of the ball from the Detroit game. They looked horrible against Detroit. Daniel Jones went backwards in that game. Didn't show me anything. Detroit all of a sudden looking like gangbusters, and we know they're a nobody team. And now you're going up against a Dallas team that might even get Odell Beckham. So, they're pumped up. You got a 1-2 punch that the Giants aren't going to stop. You got Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard in the backfield. I don't see them stopping them. Again, Daniel Jones looked like he regressed last week. He had 2 interceptions. Detroit held Saquon Barkley to 22 yards rushing. I mean, Detroit, for Christ's sakes. How many yards do you think he's going to get against Dallas?
It's the
All right.
NFL on any
Yeah.
given Sunday.
Okay. Any given Sunday.
That's
Now, I heard
why,
the speech. All right. I heard the speech.
and it
I'm
happens
just
every
telling
week.
you,
If it
I
was
don't
that
think.
easy, if it was
No,
that
I don't
easy,
think. I think Dallas is going to be pumped up. They're ready. They've already beaten the Giants once this season. They're going for the sweep. But this has blowout written all over it. That's why the spread is so high. I mean,
and you're completely wrong. They play each other tough all the time.
okay, all right. So last 10 on Thanksgiving, also for Dallas. Believe it or not, Dallas is 3-7 straight up and 1-9 against the spread. But this is where they go in a different direction. This game is
Wow,
definitely
you're bucking trends. I don't know.
We're blowing out. Listen,
You,
the
you
Dallas
you've been
Cowboys
hitting
showed me something against Minnesota, and Minnesota's better than the Giants, and
you've
they're
been
gonna
hitting the
they're
drink
gonna blow
early
them out.
tonight.
What?
Have you been hitting the drink early tonight? You got a 4-day
Haven't
weekend.
hit anything. I've been waiting for you.
Starting early. You starting early.
I've been waiting for you.
What's your drink of choice?
Yeah, my drink of choice is let's do these games. That's my drink of choice, and I'm saying
Wow.
that Dallas is gonna blow them out. All you folks that are watching right now, you heard it here first. I'm sure you heard it at other places. Dallas is gonna blow them out. Okay, JB thinks that Giants are going to at least cover this game, but he does believe Dallas is going to win this game.
Dallas is going to win. That's not a question. The question is it going to be by 9 points? No way. It's a
Yeah, I
division
think so.
game.
Doesn't
They
matter.
know each other well.
Yeah, a lot of people thought division game in San Francisco on Monday night. I liked Arizona. Look what happened.
That was a bad choice. That was San
Yeah,
Francisco.
no kidding. Bad choice. Arizona didn't even show up. They might have. I think they left their baggage and everything else in Arizona. They didn't make the trip to
The
Mexico.
running
Certainly
back
didn't look
coach
like
got
the
left.
Cardinals were there.
The running
What?
back coach got left in Arizona. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, the rest of the team should have been left there because they're terrible. Moving to the next game. Also, we're looking at a Thursday night. This is the Thursday night game, New England and Minnesota. Minnesota's laying 2.5. Who you liking in this game, JB?
You know, Bill Belichick's going to come up with a scheme to make this interesting. But Minnesota, after getting destroyed last week, playing at home on Thanksgiving. You know, everybody says that, the NFL wants more games and, we need a third Thanksgiving game. Minnesota's not going to be happy to be playing Thursday night, but they are going to be at home, and they're going to take out all their frustration out of the New England Patriots. Dalvin Cook's going to have a good game. Kirk Cousins is going to find Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a big win for the Vikings. I'm thinking double digits.
Well, I like Minnesota in this game too. New England barely beat the Jets on a lucky punt return at the end of the game. Their offense was looking stagnant against the Jets. Minnesota's coming off that embarrassing loss. The faster they forget about that embarrassing loss against Dallas, the better they are as a team. And I think with Minnesota being at home, they're able to do that. I think it's a big bounce back for Minnesota. I really don't think New England's going to bounce on this game. I love Minnesota to win big. I say by about 10 points, but they definitely cover the spread.
The line is really low because of how bad Minnesota was last week. So, if you liked Minnesota before, this is a great spot to take them and to not have to lay a lot of points against the Patriots team that can't score.
The only thing that gets Minnesota in trouble is turnovers. But even against Dallas last week, they didn't even have any turnovers. They had one turnover. Dallas just was a machine last week, and they rolled over Minnesota. Minnesota has to have a good run game because without a good run game, Cousins gets into trouble. And last week, it didn't matter what Minnesota did. But if Cousins and Madison can do a 1-2 punch this week against New England and eat up a lot of that clock, they're definitely going to win this game outright, and they'll cover the 2.5-point spread.
I'm with you. I'm saying somewhere around 10. New England, their offense is horrible.
They should have left Bailey Zappi in.
They got lucky to beat the Jets. The Jets have their own issues with their quarterback.
They're not even. Zach Wilson's out this week. Mike White. I said it earlier in the week to somebody, and sure enough, came to fruition. Mike White's going to be quarterback.
Well, sometimes you got to take responsibility. You play it 3-3 till the end of the game where you get up a punt touchdown.
He almost blew the game on two different occasions because they were two different passes that were definite interceptions for New England, and they were dropped. So. And Zach Wilson, he tried to check down, and there were guys that were open, and he couldn't get the ball to them, so that's a problem.
No, it's their offense is horrible. It's ugly to see. The Patriots couldn't do anything against their defense, so I don't see the Vikings having much trouble. Nope, the Patriots have to be on the road on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be a very happy Bill Belichick at the end of the night.
No, I don't think so either. The next game, I know we're going a little fast this week, but hey, it is what it is. Cincinnati at Tennessee. I know you don't like the pluses, so it's Cincinnati -1.5 at Tennessee. What do you like in this game?
So I heard Jamar Chase may play. If Jamar Chase plays, I think the Bengals win easy. They win by at least a touchdown. Now, if Jamar Chase doesn't play, it changed. Burrow is much more confident when he has Chase as wideout. Not that he doesn't like the other wideouts, but that's like his safety blanket. And right now he doesn't have it. He's still doing well, but, he's by far their best receiver. So I think it comes down to that. If you have Jamar Chase, all Bengals. If not, I like the Titans. And the Titans,
I like the Titans anyway. Because the Titans are a tough team on defense. They're a very underrated crew. They can shut down teams. People thought, Green Bay. Look, with even out a quarterback, they took Kansas City into overtime. Okay, and they were winning that game. We're talking about Malik Willis. All right, they can win games with Malik Willis. You got Tannehill came back in. They still win games. They surprise people. Mike Vrabel is a very smart coach. I know he's part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree. The coaching tree really hasn't done that well as you would think, or you would expect. But Mike Vrabel has made a name for himself in Tennessee, and he's done things with that defense that are unexpected. I mean, he was number 1 seed last year, and he got knocked out. So he's Listen, they're the sleeper in the AFC. Everybody likes people in the AFC East. They're talking, Miami. They're talking Buffalo, but nobody's talking Tennessee. And Tennessee's got a nice defense. You got Derrick Henry back there. He's like a machine, and he's going to run through Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not that great. They give up 30 points to Pittsburgh. Okay.
You know what I liked about Tennessee that I saw last week? First of all, they're using the tight end a little bit more in the passing game, and it looks like they found another wideout. So they have two decent wide receivers and a tight end. They didn't have that when they played Kansas City. Had they may have won that game. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I think the game depends on Jamar Chase. If he's in, Bengals win and cover. If he's not in, I like the Titans.
Okay. I like the Titans no matter what. The next game we're looking at is New Orleans and San Francisco. San Francisco is favored by 9. Who do you like in this game, JB?
I think what you saw in a San Francisco Monday night in a foreign land is going to be what you're going to see from them the rest of the year. Their defense is top-notch. Their offense has all the great little gadgets and toys and fun things about it with McCaffrey, with Debo, with Ayuk and Kittles. If they had a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, that offense would put up 40 points a week. They got Jimmy G. They're going to put up 25 to 30 points a week, and there's nobody scoring that on their defense.
Well, I'll tell you something. San Francisco played against a team that basically didn't show up. And Arizona is not a well-coached team. Cliff Kingsbury, he's another coach I don't really like. Kyle Shanahan, he's not that great either. All these guys, these young guys, they think they're all rocket scientists. No, they're not. Okay, you got a lot of guys. You got Brandon Staley and with the Chargers. He's not that good either. You got a lot of talent on certain teams, and they don't know how to cultivate it. They really don't. They should have stayed as coordinators, and that's basically what they are. They're high-priced coordinators. In this game here in New Orleans, New Orleans has a lot of talent on paper. It just sometimes never comes out. I'm not even going to mention, last week they beat the Rams. So what? Big deal. That's not a something to write home about.
Not this year.
What?
Not this year at all.
Yeah, it's believe me, that team, it's gone terrible. But New Orleans, like I said, they have a lot of talent. They've had a lot of injuries. They got Andy Dalton as the quarterback. He could still throw the ball. San Francisco, again, they showed what they could do, but they did it against Arizona, who didn't even show up. I should have figured that Colt McCoy was only good for one win, and I should have went the other way on that game because Colt McCoy, like I said, he's good for one game here or there, and that's it. More than one game. That's why he's been a backup his whole career. San Francisco, yeah, they got CMC. They got the whole crew. I know Debo. I mean, the list goes on offense. But, New Orleans is not just going to roll over. I happen to like New Orleans with the points. I think it's going to be a closer game than you think. After a blowout, if you look at games, JB, after a team blows out another team, they don't come back the next week and blow another team out. It's not a consistent kind of thing. It doesn't happen.
Listen, let me tell you one thing.
Tell me one thing.
This San Francisco defense is for real.
Yeah.
Forget about the offense for a second.
You played against Arizona. They didn't show up. What are you talking about?
They've shut everybody down. This defense.
No, they haven't. They had a comeback against the Chargers the week before. They only won by 6. They were down 13-3 in that game.
13 in an NFL game with the Chargers offense.
They were down 13-3. They ended up winning 22-16. It's not like a big blowout.
And you're going to tell me that the Chargers offense got 16 points. That defense didn't do a great job.
And this was San Francisco at home, okay? San Francisco was at home.
The Chargers offense got 16 points with Justin Herbert and Eckler. And you're going to tell me that defense didn't do a great job shutting that team down? This defense is for real.
All right, we'll see. That's why they got to play the games. I'm liking New Orleans +9. You're liking San Francisco -9. And Jimmy G, listen, New Orleans has a defense also. If they play smart, yeah, and that's why this game is going to be closer than you expect. All right, I got to hold you to these games.
You're going to hold me to these games. I want to see some. I want to see a lot of no holding calls on every play on offense
Well, there's
this
holding
weekend.
on every play in the NFL. It's just whether or not they decide to call them.
You ever watch a game and you just, as soon as you see the penalty, you just say that's it, the drive's dead? Because that happens
Yeah, of
about
course.
80% of the time when you get one of these phantom penalties that they
Of
can
course.
call any play.
There was a penalty in the San Francisco game on Monday night. They called face mask. The guy never even touched his face mask. It was 15 yards.
And it just changes the whole complexion of the game.
They
These
gave
guys
an
are
extra
so
15
good.
yards. They were already in Arizona territory, and they ended up getting a touchdown.
Crazy. But let's talk about this game. Is there a reason to talk about this game?
Yeah, there is a reason to talk about the game because Philly is favorite in this game on Sunday Night Football by 7. So you tell me, what do you like?
I mean, what have the Packers done to show that they even belong on the same field with the Eagles, who haven't really been tested by anybody good, but you can only play who's on your schedule? But seriously, what have the Packers done to show that they belong to be in the same category, even by a touchdown?
You know, the Eagles, first of all, the Eagles have had a test the last 2 weeks. They lost against Washington on Monday night. They had to come back. They had to come back against Indy. You know, that's why they play the games. I mean, the Eagles definitely, I think, are going to blow the Packers out. There's no question in my mind. They're going to get things going. It's going to be Sunday night. They're going to take care of business. Hurts, you know, they're going to get back on the train. They had a little speed bump. They only lost a game, and you know what? Losing a game in the NFL is sometimes a good thing because then you adjust and you see things differently, and you can refocus your attention on the prize.
And the coming back against Indy, I mean, Indy's got a really good defense as well, and they're excited in Indianapolis right now as the players because there was a change, and you know, we could talk about the change that has nothing to do with it, but their players are excited.
Interim, they still stink. They overplay their hand. That team is not really that good.
It has nothing to do with the team being good, but teams get up and down for different games. You should be up for
every game, but
that's not the case. And the Colts were up for the Eagle game after they came off a win in Week 1 for Saturday. The second game, they got a big test against the Eagles. They showed that they can play. They can be competitive. They blew the game at the end, which they had no business.
Of course, they blew the game. They're up 16-3 in that game.
Right, but you know, and the Eagles, a win's a win. You know, the only people it costs are the bettors. For the Eagles, it's all good. They move on to next week, and I think they're going to take their frustration out of the Packers from the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, well, Packers and they're done. They had a running game for a while, but Eagles, they brought in 2 new guys, Ndamukong Suh, and I forget who else they brought. I think I can't.
It was two interior linemen.
Yeah, and it's already helped them.
Listen, I as much as I hate saying the Eagles, you know, I think the Eagles are going to win double digits here. It's another one of those games I'm going to start watching like Monday night and say, why am I wasting my time watching this?
You mean Sunday night?
No, Monday against Arizona.
Okay.
Arizona. Why was I watching that? Because it was over really quick.
Oh, yeah, they didn't show up. They were dead from the opening kickoff.
You know, and I have a feeling Sunday night's going to be the same thing as it was last week with Monday. It's going to be, why am I watching this? You know, but we'll see. I mean, you know, Aaron Rodgers will do something to make it entertaining. He'll complain, you know, the lights in the stadium were too bright. You know, the beer vendor was yelling beer here and it messed up. You heard he was blaming the wind in the game against Tennessee as if Tannehill didn't have the same wind.
What?
He was complaining about the wind in the last game as if, you know, the other quarterback didn't have to deal with it. I mean, this guy's full of excuses. The excuse train's got to stop. Yeah,
I hear you. So those are the games that we're looking at this week. It's a little shorter version this week. You know, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. And
so where can people find you?
You can find me right here. Every Wednesday night, you can find me on the J&J. I was going to say J&J Sports Express. Can you?
When does that air?
Yeah, on the Rick Kamla Show on Better Sports Network app on Friday nights at 7:30. You can find me on my website at jeffcadillac.com. You can find me on Twitter at jeffcadillac1. You can also find me at sportskita.com in the betting section, two articles a week. And that's everywhere.
So JB underscore the program on Twitter. Sideline Sports every Tuesday, 8:30. Here Wednesdays. The South Florida Sports Exchange, Wednesdays at 9. And both sides of the coin every other week at 11:05. But it was a pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us to all of you.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Enjoy
everybody.
Enjoy the football, the family, the good food, and have a great week, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.